Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it means so much to me. I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then just finally, underneath that, there's another link in the description box. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,900 members. Oh, so close to 10,000 members. Over 9,900 members in the group, and it's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, it's getting close. It's getting close, guys. Saturday, 1 o'clock. I'm kind of used to, like the 7 o'clock starts and all that stuff. But 1 o'clock going to be on the NFL Network. I believe ESPN is buying them out. Well, actually, Disney owns ESPN, so Disney and ESPN, whatever, they're buying out the NFL. I wonder what that. I wonder what that transaction is going to cost. I wonder how many zeros are at the end of that transaction. But it's going to be 1 o'clock, right? Let me find this up here. There we go. All right. So, but it's obviously on. If you live in New York, Channel 4. I used to live in New York. No, don't live in New York anymore. But 50 years ago, I lived in New York and Channel 4. That was the Jets were on 2. Giants were on 4. And back in the day, the home games were blacked out. So we had an antenna on the top of our house. Remember antennas and all that stuff? Yeah. Oh yeah. And what we had to do was to try to get the Giant games. We had a thing sitting on top of our TV and a box, whatever. And it had like a little dial, and you turn it, and it would turn the antenna up on top of our roof. It came in handy quite a bit. And we had to get, I think it was Channel 8 in Connecticut. I believe it was. I'm not mistaken. It's 50 years ago. So we had to turn the antenna on top of our roof to try to get whatever to face or pick up Channel 8 over in Connecticut. Because in New York, it was 2, 4. I mean, now there's 375 quadrillion channels. But back in the day, it was 2, 4, 7 was ABC. So I think it was either 6 or 8. I thought it was 8. In Connecticut was the Giants channel, which was, the Giants were 4. So the NBC. So I think NBC, I think in Connecticut was like 8. So we turned it, and it would rotate on top of our house, and it rotated really slowly, but sometimes the channel would come in. I mean, it was always fuzzy. The channel never came in crystal clear. Obviously, once again, we're talking about 1973, 72, so it never came in crystal clear, but sometimes you can get it where you can make out figures and all that stuff and everything. But so the Giants will be on 1 o'clock, obviously Channel 4 in New York, the NFL Network. Then of course they're on radio. So the Giants will kick off the 2025 preseason on the road facing the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium. Kickoff is scheduled for Saturday, August 9th at 1 o'clock on WNBC. Hold on a second. Please. In regular season play, the teams have met 14 times with one postseason matchup. Of course, we all remember that one. The Bills lead the series all-time 8-6. The Giants, what was it? Was it 17? It was 20-6. They beat the Bills in 1970, the first time I had the merger. The Giants played the AFC East. They played three of the teams in the AFC East. They played the Jets. They played the Boston Patriots in 1970, and they played the Buffalo Bills. And they beat the Bills. It's either 17-6 or 20-6. I think they were tied at 6 at halftime. I think it was 20-6. They wound up winning. But so the Giants actually wound up beating the Bills the first time they ever played them. So, but the Bills obviously lead the series, all-time series 8-6. Now, of course, the Giants. I mean, last time we played the Bills, it was just one of those things. Once again, the whole season. I mean, just like nothing went right for the absolute. We should have beat. I mean, once. We only had 3 wins, so we got Abdul Carter. If we had 5 wins, we don't get Abdul Carter. We get 5 wins, maybe we don't get Jackson Dart. So paid off for us, right? But I mean, not with the Bills, the Bills game, with Tyrod Taylor calling the what was it? The running play and the time ran out. We should have had at least 3 points. The last play in the end zone, there was like pass interference, and they didn't call. So just unbelievable. But anyway, this preseason. So, all right, what else we got here? So I had to watch the Giants and the Bills on TV, WNBC. So on WNBC, so if you're in the New York market, right? See, Bob Papa, Carl Banks, Phill Simms, Howard Cross is on the sideline, and Bruce Beck is on the sideline. So for this game, anyway, the Giants radio announcers will be calling the game, right? And Paul Dottino will be up in the booth. Madeline Burke, she's on the sideline, I think it is. Sean O'Hara, Paul Dottino, Sean O'Hara will be up in the radio booth. So Paul Dottino will be calling the game on the radio. So they'll be on the fan, and Madeline Burke will be on the sideline. The pregame and postgame will be John Schmelk and, of course, the newly acquired Tiki Barber. Let's see. The Giants game day begins at 11 o'clock a.m. And then there's the postgame after the game's over. If you live outside the New York market, you can hear the Giants on the Giants radio network across the country, and there's a whole bunch of them. The Giants, even in Espanol, on Sirius XM, it's either channel 161 or channel 380, right? But now the one thing that I know when Dable had his little press conference and all that and everything, of course they all asked him, who's playing, who's starting, who's and of course Dable, Dable-esque, shall we say? He's very good at this. Yeah. How do you do? Oh, he's getting better all day to day. Yeah. He gives you the same answer. So he's not going to tell anybody basically who's starting and who's, how many reps each guy's going to get. I mean, like say if Russell Wilson were to get in, a lot of the first stringers on offense, they're going to play a quarter. I mean, it would be, really. I mean, unless you straight up bubble wrap these guys, it's football. Things can happen. But if you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, Paul Dottino was talking about, he said, get Russell Wilson in there for at least a quarter. Get that starting offensive line or get an offensive line out there. Obviously it would behoove the Giants if they had there's as of right now, we're going to go over the unofficial depth chart in just a minute, but it would behoove the Giants to get guys out there who they might possibly think might be, as of right now, be the starters, because you want them to, to play together, right? Of course, Andrew Thomas isn't going to be playing, but I mean, it would really behoove the Giants to get at least Russell Wilson out there on game situations. But Paul that Tino was talking about was, run the ball, right? Keep everything, obviously, as they always do, very vanilla. The defense is going to be very vanilla. Everything's going to be very vanilla, right? Maybe a little sprinkles on it, but very, very vanilla. But don't have Russell Wilson drop back and stand in the pocket for 5 seconds and try to launch something deep down the field. You don't want nobody getting anywhere near him, right? Maybe a screen, wide receiver screen, running plays, something quick over the middle, something quick, whatever, right? Like, just get some reps, get some familiarity with that, with the offensive line and all of that. But I mean, definitely got to have them out there. I mean, before we went to the 17-game schedule, right? Usually the way it worked out, I mean, for the most part, obviously it wasn't, there's no rules, nothing's written in stone. But when we had the 16-game schedule and there was 4 games, I like 4 games. I like 4 games, right? Because that way everybody can get a chance to play. The starting defense, starting offense, they can all get some reps. Everybody get a chance to play. I like 4. The more they keep cutting these games down, it's just, I mean, once we go to 18 games, they might only have 2 preseason. I mean, it's ridiculous. But when they had 4 preseason games, right? Usually the starting team, we get around a quarter. Might have been 2 drives. Might be, they're on the drive and the quarters change to the second quarter that the offense stay, or the defense, whoever stays out there till they're they change of possessions and they come off and you start putting the other teams in there. Usually like the second game, right? That would be like when maybe they would play like maybe a half. The starters play the first half, close to it, right? Then, of course, you had the third game where the start, we're playing a majority of the game, whatever, 3 quarters, right? And, of course, then the last game, that's when you had the starters be on the sideline all joking around, holding the show, got their hands in their shoulder pads and their helmets they don't even bring their helmets, leave the helmets in the locker room. They just standing around there joking around. And while everybody trying to make the team is out there playing, right? But I mean, it's a little bit different now. Now basically you kind of have like, 2 games for the starters, however you want to, get them out there for 3 quarters, maybe 1 quarter the first game, 2 quarters the second game. Then usually like the last game, the third game, that's when the teams on the players on the roster bubble play majority of the time. I don't know what the hell's going to happen when they go to, if they go to 18 games and they cut it down to 2 preseason games. I mean, so we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, obviously, who's starting, Dave ain't going to say. Who's not going to, obviously, some of the guys, we don't need Malik Neighbors out there. It'd be cool to see him out there. Don't need him out there. Andrew Thomas obviously isn't going to be out there. We're going to talk about injuries here in a little bit. Dexter Lawrence shouldn't be out there. So we'll have to wait and see. Well, hello, what's going on there? So we'll have to wait and see. But Dable didn't, he was asked on his press conference, who's playing, and basically he said they're going to sit down. Tomorrow, I think, is like some kind of, I think Wednesday would be like a padded practice. Wednesday. Thursday is like a carded practice, I believe they said. They said they got like stuff written down that they want to go over, possibly for the game on Saturday, right? And then I guess Friday is, maybe they going to Buffalo, and of course, obviously, Saturday is the game. So what Dable said was, I think to try to get him away from any other questions from the media as far as who's going to start and all of that and everything like that. Meaning he's going to, I think they said he was going to like sit down like maybe Thursday night or something like that with the coaches and all that and talk about that and everything. So who's going to play, who's not, how much, you're not going to know from Dable. And except for the guys, obviously, who were injured. So like Andrew Thomas, Eric Gray, some of these guys that, that won't be playing. But I would like to see at least the offense and the defense out there, at least for a little bit. They're not got a ton of guys out there, obviously, compete for roster spots. Oh, I know, man. Nothing. I mean, it's just so. It's bad enough when they complete passes on you and stuff, but man, when you can't stop the run, it's really demoralizing. Because like the Giants couldn't really do anything, past couple of years. They can't stop the run, they can't stop the pass. At least if you can shut the run down, it's like, you ain't running today. You might pick up 60, 70, 80 yards, but you're going to have to run the ball 25 times to get 80 yards. So, if you want to run the ball for 2.5 yards a carry, God bless you. Go ahead. But you're not making a living off of running the ball. So you're going to have to pass, if you want to make, move up and down the field. The Giants couldn't really freaking do anything. It was kind of like, can't stop the run. Well, we can't stop the pass. We're screwed, And Mr. Mara was talking about that too. He's like, I'm really sick and tired of seeing teams just walking up and down the field on us. So hopefully, our pass rush will be better, right? Not that it was really bad last year, but we wound up with like 42 sacks, I think it was, for the season, somewhere around there. But hopefully we should get at least that many, hopefully this year. But yeah, our run defense has got to be much better. Much better than it's been. Now we'll have to wait and see, especially the free agents we brought in. Does any of those guys help out? Darius Alexander, our draft pick, does he help out? In the run game. But yeah, we got to do something. The nice thing here, especially with the defense, is that we got a lot of these guys for at least 2, if not 3 more years. The only one, pretty much the only starter, right? And his snaps are going to be cut down a little bit because of Abdul Carter, will be Micah McFadden. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do with him. Do they try to sign him before before free agency hits? Because this is his last season with the Giants. So I think it's interesting to see what they think of him. Do they want to try to bring him back? He's not going to be super expensive, but, what do they think of him? Also, Cordell Flott as well, too. But he may or may not be a starter. We'll have to wait and see. But, we got a lot of these guys, if you can just go across, we just drafted Darius Alexander, right? Sexy Dexy, we got him for a couple more years. Brian Burns, we got him for another 4 years. We picked up Kayvon's 5th-year option, so we got him for this year and next year. Karake, we got for at least 2 more seasons. We just Debo for 3 years. Banks, we have him. It depends upon if we pick up his 5th-year option or not. We can have him for another 3 years. Phillips in the slot, we can have him for 3 more years. We got Nubin for 3 more years. We just got Holland for 3 years. And then, I'll have to see what they do with Belton, right? If he winds up being safety number 3. This is his contract year, too. Be interesting to see if they bring him back as well. But a lot of the starters the Giants they'll have for at least a couple more years. So after this season's over with, right, they can sit down and say, we're pretty good. We ain't missing much. Let's hope anyway, right? What do we need, to really make this defense really awesome? And, maybe we might need another huge defensive tackle in there or something. Who knows, right? But, hopefully they can maybe put some type of finishing touches on the defense next free agency and the draft next year, right? But the defense should be, as long as we can stay healthy, the defense should be pretty good, right? So I'm very, very excited about seeing the defense out there. Very excited. So that takes me to this here. right? Now, the unofficial depth chart. Let's see, right? The keep in mind it's unofficial, right? But they got Scatterboo, I think, is running back number 3. Dart is quarterback number 3, right? I mean, Evan Neal is number 2. I think Banks and Flott. I'm gonna look over it in just a second. Banks and Flott, I think, are tied. I mean, I think they made no discrepancy whether who's the starter at cornerback number 2. So, but let's see here. Oh, wait on. There we go. Released their first unofficial depth chart. Giants released their first unofficial depth chart ahead of Saturday's preseason opener against the Bills. As always, it is subject to change. It simply serves just as a guide, more so for the media than the coaches. Absolutely. Additionally, players on the physically unable to perform list are not included. So you won't see Eric Gray in there, right? So, Andrew Thomas, you won't see him in. So here is a look at the first unofficial depth chart as of August 5th. So on their base offense, right? So the wide receivers, right? We got Darius Slayton, Wando Robinson, and Malik Neighbors. Now, behind Darius Slayton is Jalen Hyatt, Zach Pascal, and then Juice Wells Jr. is behind Darius Slayton. The slot receiver, you got Wando Robinson as number 1, Amir Smith-Marset, Montrell Washington, Dalen Cambry, and Gunnar Olszewski and Jordan Bly. So they have quite a log jam, on the unofficial depth chart at the slot receiver position. Right tackle, they got Jermaine Illuminor, Marcus Bowe, and Stone Forsythe is the third string. So as of right now, once again, on the unofficial depth chart, Marcus Bowe, our draft pick, is second team right tackle. Then they have Evan Neal is the backup. Greg Van Roten is, once again, starting right guard. Evan Neal's second string, Jake Kubis, who they like a lot. And Jason Williams is the fourth string. Center, John Michael Schmitz, Austin Schlappen, and Jimmy Morrissey. The left guard got John Runyon Jr., Aaron Stinney, and Brian Hudson. And, okay. It's a little confusing because we have 2 Hudsons. We got Brian Hudson, but then we have James Hudson, the third, who is the swing tackle who we wind up coming from the Browns. So he's the starting left tackle only because Andrew Thomas is on the PUP list. Obviously, if Andrew Thomas was healthy, which they're hoping he will be by week 1 against the Commanders, Andrew Thomas would be the starting left tackle. No questions asked. But as of right now, James Hudson III is the starting left tackle. Joshua Zudu is the second string left tackle, and Marcus Bowe. So they got Marcus Bowe on both, right? They got him at the second string, second team, whatever you want to call it, right tackle, and he's the third string, third team left tackle. They got running backs, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Devin Singletary, and Cam Scatterboo. Turbo Miller is 4th, and Jonathan Ward, who we're going to be talking about in just a little bit here, is the 5th. So, I got Malik Neighbors. Behind Malik Neighbors is little Jordan Humphrey, Bo Collins, and Daquan Felton. Tight ends, Theo Johnson. As of right now, they got Daniel Bellinger is tight end number 2. Chris Manhertz is the third string. Greg Dulcich is the 4th. Thomas Fidone and Jermaine Terry are the last. So our draft pick, Thomas Fidone, is once again, this is all totally unofficial. Is the 5th string, Thomas Fidone. Quarterback, Russell Wilson, Jameson Winston, Jackson Dart, and Tommy DeVito. Now, the one thing I keep talking about, all the time is with he's a season that will take the Giants with is Theo Alexander playing. Yeah, well, I mean, we need Theo to come back. He was getting better when he the last, what the heck was it? The last 5 games he played in or something, I think it was. He had like 17 catches or something. So he was starting to come on. Of course, then he got injured. Let's hope he can stay healthy. But he seemed to be getting, coming on. So I mean, he's a big boy. If he can pick this offense up, and he's a good athlete. He's a big boy. I said, I know the first, whatever it was, however many get. I mean, yeah, I was like, man, do we even have tight ends on? And this is in the beginning of the season. I'm like, do we even have tight ends on the field? I think he had like 4 catches after the first 3 games or something like that. It's like, but once again, he's a rookie. Tight end's not an easy position to just step in and just take off. But I think the last 5 games, he had like 17 catches. He was on pace, if he didn't get injured, for like over 40 catches. But that's not bad for your rookie season. So let's hope he can take the neck. I mean, if he can get 50 to 60 catches this season, if he can stay healthy, that would be fantastic. And I'm anxious to see Alexander on the field. Just stuff you hear. I didn't go to any of the training camps or nothing like that. But you hear some promising things about Alexander. Oh yeah, absolutely. So. I mean, great if him and Sexy can team up next to one another. That'd be great. Really, really, really be fantastic. But let's say, so now with the defense here, all right? All right, so now they got, they got Kayvon, and behind Kayvon, they got the Chauncey Golston and then Trace Ford. Nose tackle, we got Dexter Lawrence, Elijah Chapman, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, and Corey Durden. And they got defensive tackle. They got Nacho, Roy Robertson Harris, Darius Alexander. The guy is a 3rd string defensive tackle. Jeremiah Ledbetter and Elijah Garcia. So we got 2 Elijahs too. We got Garcia and Chapman. Hopefully, I don't mean nothing bad about Garcia, but I mean hopefully Chapman makes the team. Then they got outside linebackers. They got Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Toman Fox. Let's see. So they got, as right now, once again, this is strictly for our enjoyment, right? So they got Abdul Carter on the 2nd team, right? But they have him as an outside linebacker. He's not listed as an inside or off-ball linebacker, if you want to call it. So the 2 starting inside linebackers, they got Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. Then, of course, behind them, they got Chris Board, who's a very good special teamer, and Darius Muasau, who will need to, put in some reps on special teams as well, too. Then they got Demetrius Flanagan Fowles and Deontay Johnson and KJ Cloyd, who we just picked up, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit here. Right. Now, obviously, KJ's got to, to come in halfway through training camp and to try to make the team, God bless you. So we'll have to wait and see. But with KJ Cloyd, this is his 2nd time with the Giants. This is his 2nd time with and I'm going to go over this in a little bit, with the Shane and Dable regime. So they are familiar with him. That's one of the things, probably why they wind up bringing him back. The nickel, right, we got Drew Phillips. And they got Nick Jones, and then they got TJ Moore. The cornerbacks, okay, the 2 cornerbacks, right? They got Paulson Adebo, and then the other cornerbacks, they got Deontay Banks and Cordell Flott are tied. They made no discrepancy. So I don't know who's the 1st stringer and who's the backup. We'll have to wait and see. Behind Deontay Banks and Cordell Flott, they got Corey Black and then D. Williams. And then behind Paulson Adebo, they got Trey Hawkins III, Art Green, and O'Donnell Fortune. Now, the safeties, right? We got Tyler Newman and Javon Holland. The 2nd stringers, we got Raheem Lane and Dane Belton. And then we got Kevon Wallace and Makari Page. So we just got Kevon Wallace in too. So, but and then we got specialists, of course. Let's see here. We got long snappers, Casey Kreider, Jamie the Hammer Gillen is the punter. He's also the holder, too. Punt returner and kickoff returner, they have Emir Smith-Marset for both of them. it's interesting because, punt returner. They got Montreal Washington as the backup. D. Williams is the backup kickoff returner. Once again, totally unofficial. Jordan Bly is the third string punt returner. And Gunnar Olszewski, who returned a punt back against the Rams 2 years ago, is the fourth string punt returner. Dalen Cambry is the fifth string punt returner. So kickoff return, we got Amir Smith-Marset, D. Williams, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Devin Singletary, and Montreal Washington. And then the kickers, they got Graham Gano, and then they got Jude McAtamney is the backup. Now it's going to be interesting to say, because apparently Jude's been working his butt off, right? That's what they've been saying, like on Big Blue Kickoff Live. He says he's really, really working his butt off, but they also say Graham Gano looks pretty darn good too. I mean, maybe he's back. Maybe he's healthy. Maybe he can stay healthy. They say, his long kicks seem to be just as good as they were. I mean, in 2022, I don't know. I don't remember how many long. I think he was like 8 out of 9 or something like that on 50-yard field goals. I mean, it was almost automatic. I mean, whatever. We get to the 37-yard line, the 36-yard line. It's fourth down. Just send Gano in for a 54-yarder. It would just be like almost automatic. It was ridiculous how good he was. But of course, with his injuries, now it's going to be interesting because we could let Gano go and save a few $1 million, $2 to $3 million. I think it's salary cap money. So that's something to keep an eye on if the Giants ever want to try to maybe save some money. We don't have a lot of salary cap space. We ain't got much. And apparently Jude McAtamney apparently has a heck of a leg. Right? He's got not that his accuracy is horrible, but I mean he's got a long leg, a booming leg. Now, if he can get a little bit better, maybe with his accuracy, maybe if Gano's contract runs out or whatever, maybe Jude can take his spot. Now, Jude's got the international where we can have 91 guys on the roster. We have an international player, international exemption, I think it is. So we can actually, as of right now, actually have, and during the regular season too, instead of 16 guys in the practice squad, we can have 17 because with Jude. Right now, instead of 90 guys in the roster, we have 91 because of Jude. So if not this year, maybe somewhere along the line, the baton might be getting passed from Graham Gano to Jude McAtamney. So, but that is the unofficial, right, depth chart, and it's always changing. And what they say also is like in the preseason game, they don't need to come out with injury reports. They don't need to say who's starting, who's playing. They don't need to say like really any of that. Really. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's just going to be fantastic. Just doing this, right? It's watching some football. That's what I love. Once again, I love about this time is it's early. That means you got the whole frickin'. I mean, if you go 3-14, it's a long season, and it sucks. Absolutely, But in the beginning, when you got the whole season in front of you, if we actually have a good season, boy, it's absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. All right, now I guess somebody must have been looking into the future a little bit. Now, this is, unfortunately, this season for Eli really, really would have been a good season for Eli to get into the Hall of Fame, but it was not meant to be. Now, of course, unfortunately, the way things are working out, right, is he's going to have to start going up and battling against, Ben Roethlisberger, some guy in a couple of years, whatever it is, some guy by the name of Tom Brady. I think he might get into. Drew Brees. These guys are all accomplished. Now, Eli has more Super Bowls, more Super Bowl MVPs than Drew Brees. Drew Brees only won one. But, Drew Brees is yardage leader, passing, and all-pro. Ben Roethlisberger's only won 2 Super Bowls. He hasn't won more than Eli, but, all pros and yard and all that. Those guys that have it all over Eli. So, unfortunately, it says in this article, Eli's probably going to get in sooner or later. He just might have to wait a little while. Meaning, this one article: retired New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning projected as a snub, meaning he won't get in for next 5 Hall of Fame classes because he's going to be going head to head, and if not even so much head to head about possibly, quarterbacks, they're just maybe more decorated players who maybe might have some Super Bowl wins underneath their belt, but some, all pros, Pro Bowls, and all that. That's huge. That is huge. So, a Hall of Fame projection leaves a certain New York Giants legend waiting on the doorsteps of Canton. Hall of Fame projection covering the next 5 years doesn't paint a rosy picture for the retired New York Giants legend Eli Manning. Getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame may require another improbable upset for Manning, projecting the following 5 Canton classes from SI.com, excluding Manning, the 2-time Super Bowl champion MVP who guided Big Blue to its most recent bout of championship glory. Manning won 2 Super Bowls, including Super Bowl 42 and 46, when he and the Giants stunned the undefeated Patriots. Still, his credentials are borderline. With only 4 Pro Bowls and 0 All-Pro teams in 16 seasons, in 2025, Manning was one of 15 finalists, but didn't make it to the round of final 10, showing that while he's on the radar, he's not particularly close. Perhaps sensing the blue firestorm heading his way upon rejection of Manning, the guy Verderain, the guy who wrote the article, argued that the new voting process, which sees a 50-person selection committee whittle down the candidates from 15 to 10 down to 5, might not work in Manning's favor. Next year's ballot, for example, includes first-time entrants Drew Brees. Drew Brees is getting in. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can't take 2 quarterbacks in, but they got Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, he's getting in there. If he's not a first-time, Drew Brees ain't a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know who is. If Larry Fitzgerald doesn't get in there next year, forget about it. They got Jason Witten, too, right? So all of whom carry what's likely an inevitable case for an eventual induction. So still, one of them may face a weight of some, as the guy predicts. Features Brees and Fitzgerald, joined by Bill Belichick, Ralph Hay, and Luke Kuechly. I don't know how Bill Belichick's going to get in there. He's only been out for I don't know. Things got particularly murky in 2028 when J.J. Watt and Tom Brady, the latter best known in Giants lore as the victim of Manning's finest metropolitan hours in Super Bowls 42 and 46, are on the ballot, leaving 2 candidates that are not only first-time showers, but unanimous winners as well. Under the current system that leaves 150 votes for 5 candidates who need at least 40 nods to earn the Canton invite. With so many terrific candidates coming up as potential first or second ballot Hall of Famers in the next 5 years, Manning could be squeezed by the voting situation. The guy says, does leave a glimmer of hope in the 2030 selection, which features a relatively light first ballot cast headlined by former Dallas Cowboys offensive staple Zach Martin. Zach's going to get in. If Martin does not get the nod on his first time around, I find that hard to believe, but Manning could perhaps sneak in. Manning's Hall of Fame case will continue to be a contentious talking point in the tri-state area and beyond, one where his championship accomplishments do most of the talking. As it stands, Manning is one of 2 Hall of Fame eligible quarterbacks with 2 Super Bowl rings not to be in Canton. The other being Oakland lost Jim Plunkett. Well, Jim Plunkett, he won, let's see, after the 80 season and after the 83 season, he was the quarterback for but his stats are not very, very, he's got 2 Super Bowl wins, both with the Raiders, but his passing stats, he passed for like a little over 50% completion. His stats are not super duper spectacular. Additionally, Manning is also the only eligible 2-time Super Bowl MVP, a brotherhood that includes the inevitable entrants Brady and Patrick Mahomes to be denied the invitation. I got another one here. Let's see here. Eli Manning faces the long road to Pro Football Hall of Fame. One of the most polarizing quarterbacks in NFL history is Eli Manning, whereas his older brother Peyton was a lock for first ballot Hall of Fame status after building a resume that includes 5 MVP awards, 5, 2 Super Bowl rings, and 10 All-Pro selections. Eli's case for Canton is a bit murkier. Yes, his Hall of Fame case is stronger than most players. He won 2 Super Bowls and was Super Bowl MVP each time, but his career extends beyond those 2 games. Eli ended his career with an exact 500 winning percentage, going 117 and 117 in regular season games. And that's pretty much sums up the kind of quarterback he was. Eli was never great, nor was he terrible. He was just okay. One could say he was the okayest quarterback of all time. Okay. His Hall of Fame case gets even slimmer when you set his Lombardi trophies aside and poke around his trophy case for other accolades. Eli never won an MVP award, nor was he ever particularly close. No Offensive Player of the Year awards either. Through 16 seasons, he never once earned a first-team or second-team All-Pro nod. And he finished as a Pro Bowler just 4 times. To make matters worse, the 2026 class looks to have 2 players who are likely to get in on their first year of eligibility, Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, they should be absolute locks to go in. Adam Rank, a writer for NFL.com, recently put out his predictions for the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class, and Eli was not part of it. Due to, in large part, to Brees and Fitzgerald, the remaining 3 spots went to Luke Kuechly, Willie Anderson, and Jari Evans. And it's hard to argue that any one of those 3 should be bumped in favor of Eli Manning. At the end of the day, there's a good shot that Eli will get in eventually. It just probably won't happen anytime soon. So, the one thing was, is that he really, if he could have gotten in this season, that really would have helped, because he was not really going head to head, especially like with any big name quarterbacks, right? So unfortunately, as time goes by, that Brees is going to be in there, Roethlisberger is going to be in, Brady's going to get in. There's going to be there's some big name quarterbacks that have more credentials than Eli does, and they'll get the nod. So it's probably somewhere along the line. It's not if, it's when does he get into the Hall of Fame. Now, who knows? I said this year would have been a very good year for him. I said, because especially it says in these articles, if you go out maybe like the next 5 years or so, now maybe according to those articles, maybe in 2030, maybe. So hopefully it won't take too long. But if Eli does get in, he looks like he's going to have to wait at least a little while longer. Yeah, I mean, I always hate, sometimes talking about people, or bringing people on, or whatever. I mean, especially after what Gruden did, making fun, calling people, especially calling like a certain, I don't even know who he was talking about, but calling them the F word. I'm not overly thrilled about that or whatever, but he kind of got banished for a little while, right? He lost his job and all that and everything. So he kind of got banished. Well, he's starting to, he kind of hid for a little while, I guess. And now he's starting to come out a little bit more. You see him, he has his own YouTube channel. I'm sure he had maybe his own podcast. And He's still apparently he was talking with Jackson Dart, so he apparently had, because he used to talk to all the quarterbacks coming out. All the big name quarterbacks. He'd have them have the highlights of their film for the college, and he'd be talking, what's going on in this play here? What are you looking at here? So he'd talk to them. He was talking with Dart, and I got to give Gruden some credit. He said, what the heck happened on this play here, right? And Dart got the ball. He dropped back, and he's looking, couldn't find nothing. And he's like, what do you do? And Gruden says, what do you do? I take off. All right, okay. So you take off, and you're running, and look, right here, right? You got the first down. And instead of stepping out of bounds or sliding, what do you do? And he took, I can't, I think it was it wasn't a linebacker. But he took on a defensive back, like head on. Boom. He's lowered his shoulder, and he was, he's kind of getting on Dart, because when Dart gets, he's got to start learning, do a little bit of sliding or running out of bounds or something. Learn to live another day, another play. Can't be taking on linebackers and stuff like that in the NFL, right? So he's got to learn to lower his shoulder, get out of bounds. Right, instead of trying to take on everybody. But he's got that killer mentality. But John Gruden, there's also a video that I posted it on in my Facebook group because I seen somebody else had it posted. So I'm sure it's posted all over the place. But apparently the Giants sent John Gruden a box. And it's got all kinds of stuff, like a giant shirt. I think it's got a giant, maybe a uniform. He sent him a giant helmet. He's got all kind of, I think it sounded maybe it was a signed football too or something. So he brought in this big box and he cut it open and he's like pulling things out and all that. But he had some high praise for the Giants. Now, of course, having high praise is one thing. Going out and winning football games is something else. I mean, like the Giants, oh man, we got a great defensive line. Well, they haven't done anything yet, right? They haven't won us a football game yet. They haven't even gotten a sack yet. They haven't even gotten a tackle yet, right? So you need to pump the brakes. Yes, we have great players, very good players. And yes, we should be upgraded from last season, right? Should be hopefully exciting to watch. Hopefully we stay healthy, right? And all that, we should, have something to really get excited about this season and a couple years forward. Because I said, let's not forget, we got Carter, we got Kayvon, we got Burnsy, and we got Dexter for at least 2 more seasons, right? So, but I mean, seeing on paper is one thing, but they got to go out and prove it, right? And no better place to prove it on the road against those Commanders in week 1, and not only that, against those Cowboys in week 2. Man, I'll tell you what, nothing would set the stage better than coming home. I think against the Chiefs in week 3, man, MetLife Stadium would be going freaking bad. If we're 2-0, man, the place would just freaking explode. We'd be freaking rocking. And I'll tell you what, nothing, the one thing really, I'm not saying we're beating the Chiefs and all like that, but if you look at one of the things that really gets to Patrick Mahomes, okay, especially his 2 Super Bowl losses, is a good rush. When they lost, I don't remember what Super Bowl number it was. You got to forgive me. I'm old, right? I ain't got no hair. I'm a moron, right? But when they played the Bucks, right? I mean, now to be fair, Patrick Mahomes, I think it was his 2 starting tackles were like out. That they're kind of important, right? So he had backups in there, but the Bucks had a really good pass rush, right? But he was just running for his life, right? And in that Super Bowl, they scored 3 field goals. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't even score a touchdown. I mean, but a lot of that, every time he dropped back the pass, he was running for his freaking life. Well, I didn't see the game because I'm not going to watch the Eagles. Will not. If my life depended upon it, I will not watch the Eagles. I despise them. Life is short. I'm not going to spend 3 hours watching the Philadelphia. Not happening. But from what I read and all that, and just people, the Eagles pass rush was just like all over Mahomes, right? So if we're home, we're gonna get the home crowd going freaking bananas, and if we can get that pass rush going, if we can get Mahomes, Mahomes is, he'll move around a little bit, but he ain't gonna, right? He ain't gonna get, he ain't running away from Burnsy. He ain't running away from Carter. Sexy's gonna push that pocket, so. Sexy's got a lot because Chris Jones is going to be on the other sideline, so Sexy's got something to prove in that game. But anyway, right? But I don't know. I went from John Gruden to talking about Patrick Mahomes. But anyway, good old Gruden. He had some praise for the Giants. So Giants drew a massive praise from former Super Bowl winning coach. There was a lot for John Gruden to like about the Giants. Now, if you watch that video, I don't know what you typed in. I just saw it on Facebook. But he's talking about as he's opening up this box, he's talking about, hey, how about that Abdul Carter? What about that Dexter White? He was going on and on. So there's a lot to like about those New York Giants. So back when he was an NFL coach who won a Super Bowl with one of the best defensive units in league history. Yes, they were good. John Gruden was surrounded by elite talent. So when he sees a team loaded with good players and takes the time to rave about it, people tend to pay attention. Now, once again, I don't condone certainly what he called. If he called one guy the F word, I'm sure he called plenty of other people that. So I certainly don't condone that. But there's no denying the dude knows talent. He did a very good job when he was on, was it Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football he was on for a while, and he did a very good job. Very good job. Gruden, who was the Super Bowl winning coach for the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers and now does analysis work for Barstool Sports, posted a video of himself receiving a box of merchandise and paraphernalia from the New York Giants and their head coach, Brian Daboll. During the video, Daboll not only rattled off the team, Daboll, whoever wrote this article needs to stop, needs to reread this. Gruden not only rattled off the history of the team, but he had several praising points to make. The first was about the Giants' 2025 NFL draft class. The New York Football Giants, boy, did they have a great draft or what? How about getting Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart in the same draft? Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out how good Abdul Carter is. I can even tell that, right? But he's the one, he sat down with Jackson Dart. This dude watches film. He loves watching film. So he's seen a lot of film of Dart. He actually sat down and talked with Dart. So he knows a decent amount about Dart, right? And they got my guy, Cam Scatterbill, coming out of the backfield. They got some players, Gruden said. John Gruden sees the New York Giants pass rush as a nightmare to deal with. Gruden was always very high on Dart going back to the pre-draft process and felt the Giants were getting one of the toughest players in the draft when they got Dart with the number 25 overall pick. Gruden, though, who also extremely high in the Giants pass rush as well, which includes the other first-round pick from the class, and Abdul Carter. Back when Gruden was a Super Bowl winning head coach, many considered the 2002 Buccaneers defense one of the best in recent memory and in league history. That's hard to argue with that. Hard to argue with that. They were good. That defense also had several Hall of Fame players on it: Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Ronde Barber, and who's the twin brother of Tiki. If the current Giants defense can be anywhere near the one Gruden coached over 20 years ago, the fan base will absolutely sign up for that. Some see Big Blue as a potential sleeper team in 2025, with the defense being the reason why. Others even think New York's defense has the potential to be a top 10 unit. Well, if they're not top 10, they better be damn close to top 10, or I'll tell you what, Mr. Bowen needs to go bye-bye. If he can't, unless we're totally decimated by injuries, and I'm not saying we got, but if we're not 12, 13, somewhere around there, we got a problem. Of course, the Giants still have to actually go out and produce with their defense and give a very unknown offense a chance to win games in 2025. But the pass rush is as good as others around the league believe. There could be a lot of hope for this upcoming season. Once again, we'll have to wait and see, right? Without question. But that's it. You'll have to go out and you have to prove it. Just because the Giants have a great pass, or maybe possibly what looks like on paper, great pass rush and all that stuff and everything, they still they haven't done anything yet. So, all right. Unfortunately, the latest injury updates for the New York Football Giants. They signed a couple guys. I'm going to go over that in just a few minutes here. But now, I mean, pretty much the only one as of right now who looks really bad, is obviously Bryce Ford-Wheat, right? So his season's over. But a lot of the guys that, seemingly like they were supposed to have any type of a good role with the Giants this year, as of right now, right? They got the little nicks and bumps and bruises here, but getting better. But the only problem is, of course, as some of these guys get better, we're going to get other guys who are going to get injured. So it's always these guys will start playing, and these guys get hurt. These guys get so it's never ending. All right, where are we at here? All right, so we got. Okay, so of course we got, indicated that running back Cam Scatterby, who suffered a setback on Friday, is getting better, as all are the injured guys. Now, of course, there's one, David was asked, I had the injury. All the guys injured, they're getting better. I think he said they're all day to day, and we're all getting better. Nothing concrete or anything like that. Because he doesn't have to. Cam, the rookie running back, who was believed to have suffered a hamstring strain, underwent an MRI, which Dable said left them feeling optimistic. So once again, at least there was something, right? But he's never going to give you anything really in depth and detail for the most part. Receiver Darius Slayton is also apparently nursing something. Slayton began practice on the side with a trainer and will likely miss the preseason opener against the Bills. Well, that's fine. I mean, see, he's one of those guys. This is where it's really important. I mean, these freaking wide receivers. I mean, we got like 14 of them. Got the depth chart. Whoop. There we go. All right. How many do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. We got 14. Looks like 14 guys on the depth chart. Okay. So, I mean, it's going to be really very, I said, what's Malik Neighbors? How does he do? We need him. We don't need to see Malik Neighbors. Every day he's making like a highlight real catch in practice. We don't need to see that guy at all. Darius Slayton is nurses. I mean, we don't need to see really Wan'Dale Robinson out there either, right? So if you take those 3 guys out, we have 11 other guys. We got Jalen Hyatt, who's, almost a lock to make the team. I'd have a hard time believing he ain't going to make it, right? That gives you 4. How many of the Giants going to keep? They're going to keep maybe 6. I mean, that gives you like 10 other guys to maybe 2 roster spots. So these 3 preseason games are huge for a lot of these guys, because a lot of these guys, it's not only so much what can you do. I mean, because we got the 4. Malik Neighbors ain't running down on punt coverage. I can tell you that much. Slayton's not doing it. I mean, right? So the final maybe 2 guys, if we keep 6 wide receivers, we're putting someone to practice, at least 1 or so in the practice squad. But let's say we keep 6. Those other 2 guys better be big time special teams contributors. So these games are huge for these wide receivers. So I mean, as I said, if Slayton doesn't wind up, that's fine. That's fine. All right, where are we at here? Unfortunately, receiver Bo Collins, who had started to make a splash at camp, was also sidelined. That's a shame. Yeah, anytime you can't be out there, it doesn't help you, Dable said in response to a question about a rookie trying to make his mark being unable to practice. Because while you're on the sideline unable to perform, you got these. We had 5 undrafted rookie free agents that the Giants brought in, and they all are bringing something to the table. So if you're on the sideline, like Bo, I heard a lot of good things about Bo Collins, but you can't make the club sitting in the tub, right? Your best ability is your availability. If you ain't available, if you're on the sideline, it's hard to make the team, right? If they can't be out there, then they'll do everything they can to get out there. Take advantage of the meeting time, but there's no substitute for being out on the field playing, particularly young players that are trying to earn a spot. You got that right. Rookie tight end Thomas Fidone has a concussion, remains in the protocol. Cornerback Cordell Flott, he has something unknown, right? And rookie draft pick Corey Black, groin, have also been unable to perform. Offensive lineman Greg Van Roten, who's back at practice following the birth of his second child, a girl. I believe that's his second girl. So, what else we got here? Okay. So Cam Scatterwood was not practicing after a setback. Bo Collins, a sideline with an undisclosed injury, and standout left Andrew Thomas has yet to make an appearance on the field at training camp after landing on the physically unable to perform list. While there's still a month to go before the NFL season begins, the injuries are starting to pile up for the Giants. It's shocking. Every year it's the same thing. Unbelievable. Scatterwood, the 4th-round pick, expected to be part of the running back rotation, was among those not participating this past Monday because of his hamstring injury. All the guys that are hurt, they're all making progress, Coach Brian Dable said when asked about Scatterwood. They can be out there, they'll be out there. We'll see where we're at each day. Everybody is day to day. Thomas appears further away from that as he works back from surgery in October with a Liz Frank injury in his right foot. Asked about Thomas ramping up this week with the stated goal of him being ready for the opener on September 7th at Washington, Dable said only he'll just keep working his rehab and continue to get better. I mean, he's one of the things, really, hard to, fathom Andrew Thomas not being out there at left tackle and us having a really successful season. Because if Hudson, unless somehow also Luminor slides over there and Marcus Bowe takes right tackle or something like that, it's Hudson's a good swing tackle, but he's not Andrew Thomas. We need a good left tackle, right? And we not only that, but we need, really could use Andrew Thomas, but not only that, but we need Andrew Thomas to stay healthy. Can Andrew Thomas stay healthy for a full season? Let's see. With Collins and veteran Darius Slayton not taking part in team practice and Bryce Ford Wheaton on the injury reserve after tearing his Achilles, 26-year-old Montreal Washington has impressed when giving the opportunity to run with the first and second team offenses. Washington made a dazzling one-handed catch on a pass from first-round pick Jackson Dart during 7-on-7 drills Monday, adding to his own growing list of camp highlights. Montreal said, a play a day keeps the coach, I think he said a catch a day keeps the coaches away. So I'm trying to make as many plays as I can, said Washington, who signed as a free agent after stints with the Chiefs and the Broncos. We don't like when guys go down, but I'm just trying to be there to show the guys I'm available. I'm locked in, and I can be that guy to make a play for you guys when y'all need me to. They also, need him on special teams as well, too. Running back has also been thin. Eric Gray was on the PUP list. Rashawn Baker waived with an injury designation. With the first preseason game set for Saturday in Buffalo, the Giants signed Jonathan Ward, who we're going to talk about. Let's see. And it also, of course, let's see. Ty Summers as well, too. He has, he had an injury as well, too. And we want to bring in I'm going to talk about, I just talked about a little while ago, Cloud. Wait. Wait. KJ Cloud. I forgot what his initials were. We just brought him back, so because of Summers. So, yeah. Now the thing is, obviously, if you bring in another guy, right? That means you don't have like if we brought in. I'm gonna let's see right here. Right. So they just signed running back Jonathan Ward. Now, of course, because basically we lost. Well, not lost, but there's 3 running backs that we had at the start of training camp, or that aren't going to be on the field. So we got we're starting to run out of running backs. We got down to Tyrone Tracy Jr., Motor Singletary, and Turbo Miller. We were down to 3 running backs. So now we got Jonathan Ward there, right? Brought him in. So if we brought Ward in, I'm kind of wondering, what does that say so much about Cam Scatterbo, right? I mean, is he a little farther away than we actually may be making it out to be? It'll be interesting to see. But let's see here. The Giants also, they worked out, who was it? Myles Gaskin. So they did reach out to him as well, too. But they did wind up signing Jonathan Ward, who's been around a little bit. He's been around a little bit. Let's see. He was with the Cardinals. He signed with the Cardinals as an undrafted free agent in 2020. So on April 25th, he was an undrafted free agent on April 25th, 2020. He was waived on September 5th during final roster cuts and was re-signed to the team's practice squad the next day. In 2022, Ward was placed on injury reserve with a hamstring injury. He was released about a month and a half later. He was released on November 22nd, 2022. A week later, the Jets picked him up. Ward was signed to the Jets practice squad. He was released a week later. Then a week later, the Titans signed him in 2022. He was signed to the Titans practice squad. He was promoted to the active roster on December 29th. He was waived August 28th of the following season. Let's see here. May 21st, 2024, Ward signed a 1-year contract with the Steelers. He was released on August 27th and re-signed to the practice squad. Ward was promoted to the active roster on October 28th and released on November 9th. He was then re-signed to the team's practice squad 4 days later. So he's been up and down all over the place. So, but on August 4th, 2025, Ward signed a contract with the New York Giants. Now he has played, some special teams, right? So let me share my screen here, okay? I mean, he's hasn't had a ton. There we go. Of experience, but he's had some like last season. with the Steelers. He's been up and he's on the roster. He's on the practice squad. He gets cut. He gets released. He comes back to the practice squad. So, but last year with the Steelers, anyway, he was on 59 special team snaps, right? Graded out of 66.7, which is not bad, special teams. But if you look here, right, special teams, the season grades, right? So you figure in 2020 and 2021 and part of 2022 with the Cardinals, right? So, his rookie season, 173 special team snaps. His second season, 198. Not too shabby, right? 2022, he spent time with the Cardinals and the Titans. He had 87 special team snaps. 2023 with the Titans, 90 special team snaps. Last season with the Steelers, 59. Okay, so if I go here, we go offense. He has not played a lot on offense. Last season, he played one snap against the Giants last season. Interestingly enough. Against the Raiders, he had 6 snaps. Against the Cowboys, actually, I was at this game. He had 3 snaps. But if you look here, this is on the offense, right? Last season, he had 10 snaps. 2 seasons ago, at 11. 2022 was 10 snaps. His most snaps he's had in a season was 48 in the 2021 season. So, although he did grade out pretty well, but it is a very small sample size. But you'll notice here, right? Anytime he's been on the field, right, he's graded out pretty well. But you don't know what the plays were and stuff like that and all. But so Jonathan Ward, where are we at here? Bam. All right. Dan Dugan of The Athletic is reporting that the Giants are expected, or they signed running back Jonathan Ward following Monday's practice. He has 22 carries in 5 seasons with the Steelers. Was with the Steelers last season. Ward is 27, weighs in at 6 foot and roughly 202 pounds. He was originally signed by the Cardinals, an undrafted free agent out of Central Michigan following the 2020 NFL Draft. He's appeared in 46 games over his career with the Cardinals and the Titans and the Steelers. Ward was primarily been a special teams player throughout his career, playing about half the possible special team snaps in every game in which he's been active. So, Giants suddenly find themselves shorthanded at the running back position with Eric Gray on the PUP list. Cam Scadaboo suffering a setback with his hamstring injury last week, and fellow rookie Rashawn Baker also remains sidelined with a knee injury. So Dable said that the team is hosting tryouts on Monday and expect to sign it back after this conclude. He was clarified that the outlook for Scadaboo is optimistic. The rookie had an MRI over the weekend and test came back clean. So, however, hamstring injuries are notoriously tricky, and even relatively mild ones can take time to fully resolve. Yep. For now, the Giants basically, until they got Ward in there, they had just Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, and Turbo Miller are the only healthy backs. We had like 6 that were down. We were down to 3. So, once again, this is they brought in somebody, but I really would be as a special teamer, right? And so that's big. But he's got Jonathan Ward's going to try to make this team. Does have a long way to go. Because you got obviously, hopefully the thing is that you got Scadaboo, but Tracy and Singletary, and then let's not forget about Turbo Miller. The only thing is that if, like, say, Scadaboo's got to miss any length of time, right? Going to need at least another running back, at least maybe on the practice squad. Now, it'd be interesting to say if Scadaboo can't, if he has to go on injury reserve to start the season, and he misses the first 4 games, I believe it is. Are the Giants going to have Tracy? Of course, also, depends. Hopefully, these guys stay healthy too. Tracy, Singletary, maybe Turbo Miller, 3 guys on the roster. Well, they're going to need somebody on the practice squad. So maybe Ward, right? Maybe if he earns a spot, because he can run the ball and he's also a special teamer. So interesting to see. It's one of those things, with especially with Scatterbill. If there's something with the hamstring, as it said in that article, they can be awfully tricky, even if it's a little. It's not too bad. It could be. Well, it's not too bad. It can be like that for 3 months. It's not like a broken bone. You get, oh yeah, okay, it's a broken bone. Okay, in 6 months, I'm an idiot. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. That broken bone will be healed in 6 to 8 weeks, guaranteed. Well, you can look. Oh yeah, maybe you can see something maybe wrong with the hamstring, but it's not like, oh yeah, no, it's 5 weeks. 5 weeks, and that'll be good. No, don't know. So let's just hope for the best, because I want to see Jackson Dart on the field. I want to see Carter, right? I'm dying to see some Scatterbill on the field. Dying to see him. Dying to see him take somebody on, man, lower his shoulder and just knock somebody's head off. Dying to see that. But of course, now we brought back KJ Cloyd. We've had so many trillions of guys come, and I hardly even remember this guy. Guys coming and going, and just it's mind-boggling how many guys that the Giants sign and let go and all this throughout it is simply mind-boggling. But because of Ty Summers, right? Giants brought back KJ Cloyd. Now, he's got a little bit of he's not got the easiest job of trying to make the easy of the team here. Now, here on the unofficial depth chart, he's the 4th string inside linebacker, right? So, he's behind Mike and McFadden. They got Chris Boyd, then they got Deontay Johnson, then they got KJ Cloyd. So, but the one thing is that he was here before, right? So, and it's familiar with Shane and Dable, so that might be one of a good reason why they might have also brought him back too. Let's see. Linebacker Ty Summers and running back Rashawn Baker are injured. So let's see what it says. Ty Summers was placed on injured reserve. Let's see here. Meanwhile, so this thing. Oh yeah, okay. Well, so they got. Meanwhile, this will be the second stint with the Giants for Cloyd, the 6'2", 228-pound linebacker signed with the Giants last August and was released prior to the 53-man roster announcement. He joined the Broncos practice squad later in the season and was released this past May. Undrafted out of the U, Miami, Cloyd has not played in a regular season game in the NFL. Let's see. So, after going undrafted in 2024, Cloyd signed with the Minnesota Vikings as an undrafted free agent. On July 25th, he was waived by the Vikings. His first stint with the Giants on August 11th, 2024, Cloyd was signed by the Giants. During week 3 of preseason, Cloyd's performance stood out against the Jets. On August 28th, Cloyd was released and then re-signed to the practice squad. On August 31st, Cloyd was released by the Giants once again to make room on the practice squad for Javarius Owens. Gio. So, and with the Broncos, on December 10, 2024, Cloyd signed to the Denver Broncos practice squad. He signed a reserve future contract with Denver on January 13, 2025. Cloyd was waived by the Broncos on May 12th. Now, his second stint with the Giants. On August 4, 2024, Cloyd signed with the New York Giants. So, let me go over here. I'll show you some. There's not much to show here. Share the screen. Where's Cloyd at? Ward. Up. Yep. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, so this is at Miami. This is at the U. Okay. Now, this is special teams grades. Actually, he started with Louisville. I guess he transferred over to the U his final season. But big-time special teams contributor, right? I mean, these are some very good grades. This is a college, though, too, right? Right? In his rookie season, his freshman season, 70, graded out of 79, 69, 63, and 63. But you see, he's a big-time special teams contributor. It's one season with the U, Miami, 145 snaps, right? The only one he wasn't on field goal kick. But other than that, he was on everything. Now let's see here. We go to special teams. We go to defense. This is strictly college, right? Okay. I mean, we're not talking nothing super spectacular. I mean, at Louisville, right? We're not talking powerhouse U or nothing like that, especially on the defensive side, right? 2022, I guess, is junior season, I guess, right? I mean, he only has 140 snaps on defense. His one season with Miami, only 393 snaps. They graded out of 67, which is nothing super spectacular in college. So, I mean, he was not a big-time contributor. It looks like he played in like almost every game. Ball game with Rutgers, he only played 33 snaps, 23. So, he was a situational linebacker. Bethune-Cookman, he only played in 13 snaps. Against Temple, he only played in 18 snaps. Georgia Tech, 17 snaps. So, I mean, he played in like every game last season, 2024, right? 2023, I'm sorry, for the U, right? His final season in college. He played like every game, but he only, on defense, he only played a grand total of 393 snaps. So, with the Giants, he's got a long way to go. Let's see. I got, he does have a long way to go if he's trying to make the team. But the one thing is, if you're going to be like a second or third string player, you've got to be able to play special teams, and that he can now. Yeah. Can he make the team? We'll have to wait and see. He was here last year with the Giants. So, can he make the team? Who knows? The injury report, I don't see anything about him at all. Injuries, I don't see nothing about that. But right there. No, I don't see anything about Ty Summers or nothing like that. But so they brought him in. He's got a long, tough road ahead of him. But if he can actually make the team, one of the biggest things will be that fact that he can play on special teams. All right, and then finally, I mean, this is just, I got. He was with the Giants probably about 25 years ago. I mean, this is just, some guys like Lawrence Taylor. Okay, on the field, nobody's their equal. I'm not saying LaShawn Johnson. I'm not saying nobody was his equal. I mean, he was just, let's say, I don't even know. Let's see, LaShawn Johnson. I mean, I hardly remember this guy at all. LaShawn Johnson. Let's see here. Got some snaps here. Let's see. What do we got? Do we have stats? Sean Johnson stats. See if Pro Football Reference pops up. There we go. LaShawn Johnson. Okay. Well, he played for a few years. He played from 1994 to 97. He must have missed 1998. Maybe he was injured. And his final season, he played with the Giants. 1999 it was his last season. So that picture on the thumbnails from 1999, he was running with the Giants. 1999 with the Giants, he played in all 16 games. He started 4 of them. He averaged 2.3 yards a carry. He ran the ball 61 times for 143 yards. His best season was in 1996 with the Cardinals. He ran the ball 141 times, 634 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 4.5 yards a carry. But, I mean, so nothing, he played a grand total of 62 games. He started 12 games. So, I mean, nothing super spectacular, as far as any type of long, lengthy career or anything like that. The one thing is that, here we go. As I said, some people on the field are, like Lawrence Taylor. On the field, nobody's, he was dominant. Off the field, some of these guys are just totally lost. Absolutely totally lost. And so LaShawn Johnson was found guilty in federal dogfighting case, the biggest one ever. I'm going to read an article. It's like, it's absolutely amazing. It's illegal. I mean, how stupid can you be? Absolutely unbelievable. That's why I said some of these guys are just totally lost off the field. They have no idea. Ex-Giants running back LaShawn Johnson found guilty in the largest federal dog fighting case ever. And, he's looking like he's going to be doing some time, too. Ex-NFLer LaShawn Johnson was convicted of 6 felony counts related to his role in a federal dogfighting bust earlier this year. Federal jury in Oklahoma found the former Giant running back guilty last week of violating the Federal Animal Welfare Act's prohibitions against possessing, selling, transporting, and delivering animals to be used in fighting ventures. I mean, I don't know how stupid you can be. The Department of Justice announced this past Monday. Johnson will be sentenced at a later date and faces a maximum penalty of 5 years behind bars and a fine of up to $250,000 on each count. Now, I don't know if he's going to can get 5 years on each count or if it's just 5 years total and a fine of $250,000 on each count. That I don't know. But, I mean, big chances this guy's going to wind up doing some jail time. I mean, authorities seized 190 dogs, and Johnson has surrendered them to the government, which is pursuing forfeiture of the animals. 190 dogs. I mean, I don't know how stupid you can be. The criminal profited off of the misery of innocent animals, and he will face severe consequences for his vile crimes. Good. Attorney General Pamela Bondi said in a statement. This case underscores the Department of Justice's commitment to protecting animals from abuse. What a low-life, worthless piece of human trash. 190 dogs are now safe thanks to outstanding collaborative work by our attorneys and law enforcement components. Then it shows a picture. The pit bulls that were owned by LaShawn Johnson are being kept in a section of the Tulsa Animal Shelter that is marked off by tape as evidence in the case against him. Johnson has been charged in March in what federal law enforcement dubbed the largest seizure of dogs ever in a federal case, and had said that he had nearly 200 pit bull type dogs, which were used in an animal fighting venture. I mean, I just don't know how stupid you can be. Absolute worthless piece of human trash. During the multi-day trial in Oklahoma, prosecutors presented evidence that Johnson had bred and trafficked dogs for his operation called Mal-Cant Kennels in order to fight them. Let's see. The FBI will not stand for those who perpetuate the despicable crime of dogfighting, FBI Director Kash Patel said in a statement. Thanks to the hard work of our law enforcement partners, those who continue to engage in organized animal fighting and cruelty will face justice. And I hope this worthless piece of human trash does. I hope they throw the key away on. I have no. I hope he rots in jail forever. Johnson spent 5 years in the NFL, was drafted by the Packers in 1994. draft before playing 1995 to 1997 with the Cardinals and playing his final season in 1999 with the Giants. I said he missed the 1998 season. I don't know if he was injured or not, but he did not want to play in the 1998 season. So, but yeah, I totally despise worthless pieces of human trash like that. I mean, it's not like, is that illegal? Really? I mean, and it's not only that. It's that these are animals that we're kind of hoping they need people to protect them, to show them love, to feed them, and all that and everything. And you got this worthless piece of human trash just breeding these animals just so they can fight and basically tear each other apart and kill each other or whatever they want to do. It's just absolutely, totally mind-boggling to me how the absolute scum of the earth, like this worthless piece of trash, is. I hope they throw the key away. What I really would love to do would be to put him in a ring with like about 10 other pit bulls and just have them tear him to pieces. That would be cool. I would love that. That would, I can't stand absolute worthless pieces of human trash like that. Hope they throw the key away on. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 32 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.